Hello, family. We are back here once again. I want to say thank you to all the viewers and all our subscribers. It has been a very long time. We made a new video because we were having some personal issues to go out with, some busy kind of and a whole lot. So but now I want to promise you that we are back again fully on our toes. We want to deal with the driving license and everything that is necessary. All right. So without wasting so much time today, we are gonna talk about because in our previous videos we have spoken about the strada and all. So now we are going to talk about the cartelis. So the cartelis, we have a lot of them and they are not difficult. So we are going to start from this particular cartelli, which is Segnale di Pericolo. And now, segnali di pericolo, mostly when we talk about segnali di pericolo, they are in triangular forms, they are triangles. And this particular, you see the triangle and the pericolo or the dangerous, what we're talking about, the dangerous sign we're talking about will be written or will be designed inside the triangle. All right, so this particular pericolo that we see indica a 150 metri. So almost all the segnali pericolos are like they give us they tell us that ahead of us there is a dangerous, so 150 meters before the dangerous or the danger we have ahead of us. So this particular danger tells us that indica a 150 metri una strada in cattivo stato. So this is strata or pavimentazione irregolare. So ahead of us, 150 centimeters ahead of us, there is this road that is on irregular, like the pavement and everything is having potholes and all. So if you see this thing, it means that okay, ahead of you, 150 centimeters meters, sorry, ahead of you, the road is not in a good state. The pavement is not regular. There are stones, there are potholes on the road. So what do you need to do? Allora, quindi asfalto rovinato, buchi, fossi, c'è. We have spoken about this. Quindi, what are the things we need to do right here? Devo, oppure dove bisogna rallentare, ok, per evitare sbandamenti. So the most important thing we need to do is to rallenta, to reduce our velocity. In the case that we will not go here and there, when the roads are not good and you're going so much speed, you'll be moving like sbandamenti e sollecitazione alle sospensioni, and we don't want to have problems with our suspensions or our ammortizzatori. Quindi we need to reduce our velocity. That's one most important thing. Dal momento che la visibilità è presente, infatti, se si vede che viene un altro veicolo di fronte, il sorpasso è consentito. So this one is not telling us that we cannot do overtaking or any other thing. It is only telling us that the road is not good, and for that matter, we need to reduce our velocity. Alright. Il segnale può essere integrato con un IPA nero di estesa, oppure con il limite massimo di velocità. So we can have a pannello, other indication that tells us the amount of speed that we can go here. Okay, maybe other cartelli or a pannello will be attached to this one that tells us, okay, because this road is not too good, you have to go like maybe 50 kilometers per hour. You have to go like 30 kilometers per hour. You understand? So that is what we mean. All right. Esse a fondo giallo è posto in presenza di un cantiere stradale. So when we see and it is the background is yellow instead of white, it is yellow. It is supposed to be cantiere when men at work. You understand? When it is temporal. Like for instance, men at work and for that they are constructing the road newly or something, and for that matter, that's the reason or the cause of this. So it is temporal when we see the fondo giallo. Okay, so all right. oppure occorre ridurre la velocità se si traina un caravan. So when we are training other vehicle like remorque and the caravan, we need to reduce the velocity like usual. We always need to reduce the velocity. Like always, I keep telling people that in a quiz, whenever we say talk about reduced velocity, is it is always true. You understand? It is 95% true that we mostly need to reduce our velocity. Okay, so prevede eventuali sbandamenti dei veicoli prudenti. Okay, so we have talked about this. Quindi e tenere il volante con una presa più sicura. So we need to hold our steer with like very very well, so that we don't go contromano, we don't go to other lanes. All right, so I made these indications here. These are possible answers. You understand? So when we say il segnale raffigurato pronuncia una strada deformata, so this strada deformata è strada in cattivo stato, deformata, strada pavimentazione irregolare, they are all vero, ok? Il segnale raffigurato, which is this sign, pronuncia il segnale raffigurato può essere associato con un segnale limite di velocità. So like this sign here, or this limit velocità limit here, that tells us that, okay, in this case, go like 50, go like 40, go 20, okay? So that is also vero. Il segnale raffigurato preannuncia una strada con pavimentazione irregolare. It is vero because the pavement is on regular. Like it's not the regular pavimentations we see. This one is not good for us. Okay. All right. Our point 4, il segnale raffigurato preannuncia una strada in cattivo, the same thing. So una strada in cattivo stato is vero, ok? Il segnale raffigurato è un segnale di pericolo. Sì, that is the topic we're talking about. When we see triangles, they are all segnali di pericolo. So è vero, segnale di pericolo. Alright, our point 6. Si trova in genere 150 metri prima di tutto, quindi the question will come like, il segnale raffigurato si trova in genere 150 metri prima di un tratto di strada con fondo irregolare. So like I told you before, at 150 meters, we are going to see this sign that tells us that the fondo stradale is not regular, okay? And point 7, il segnale raffigurato preannuncia una strada disestata. So when we say disestata, is more or less like the same thing we have kept talking about. The road is not good. Yeah, that's. And our point 8, se a fondo giallo è usato in presenza di cantiere stradale. So I said this, that when the fondo or the background is giallo, it is used for men when men at work or that. Okay, so that's it for our strada deformata. All right, so now we're going to talk about something else, which is dorso. All right, so un dorso, and this is the dorso we are talking about. So indica una strada in salita, ok, una strada in salita seguito da una discesa. So this is the road, okay, and this is the pericolo we are talking about. It is also a triangle, okay, it is triangle, and what we are talking about here is it is a hill, okay, we are talking about a hill. So looking at this hill now, we have a salita. A salita is when we are ascending and then we descend, or somebody will say when we are climbing, then from there, from the top of the hill, then we also get down, okay? So a road or a hill that we climb and then we get down, or we ascend and descend, is what we call dorso. But we have two types of dorso. We also have artificial dorso, which some of we call rams, and yes, so we also have artificial dorsos that we climb and we get down, we ascend and descend. All right. So indica una strada in salita. So in salita, ascending, seguita da una discesa, and then we have a descending. Ok, variazione dipendenza della strada. Ok, dove manca la visibilità, pertanto sono vietati. So when we don't have, or this area where we don't have good visibility, it is vietato, we are avoided to do isopasso, okay, su tratto in salita. So when we are climbing this way, we cannot do sorpasso. Why? Because you are climbing from this area, you don't see what is on top of the hill. Assuming somebody is coming here, you also want to do overtaken from someone else that you don't see from here, you're going to have an accident. So we don't do sorpasso, which is overtaken in netratto di salita. So when we are climbing, when we are ascending, we don't do overtakings. Okay. La sosta, so we don't do sosta. When you say sosta, it is like parking. Okay, think about sosta like when you leave, you left your car at a parking space, switch everything off and start. Let's say you parked your car. When somebody has parked it, because there is a difference between fermata and sosta. Okay, so fermata is the regular or the usual bus fermata. The bus will just stop and pick somebody and go. But sosta, think about it as when somebody parked his car and left it. That is the sosta. So we don't do sosta. We cannot leave my car here, parked my car here and go. So l'invenzione di marcia e la retromarcia. So over here I cannot do inversione. Inversione is turn around and go backward. Okay, the U-turn, our regular U-turn. And we cannot do retromarcia. Retromarcia is going a reverse. Okay, going reverse. We cannot do. Se la strada è a senso unico oppure a doppio senso con quattro corsie. So if the road is a senso unico means this sign here. Okay, this. All right. So senso unico simply means this road is. We have talked about this in our previous lesson under strada. So if you don't know this specifically, I believe you need to go back and watch that video, then you come back here. So but in a very short form, senso unico is a one way. Okay, when I'm going this direction and you are not meeting any car at the opposite direction, that is a senso unico. So if it is senso unico or pure a doppio senso con quattro corsie. So when we have quattro corsie, we have also spoken about corsie. Okay, so when we have quattro corsie per due per ogni senso di marcia, so two for every senso di marcia. So those are going here are having 2 lanes, those are coming here having 2 lanes. Then we due per ogni senso di marcia supposto si può effettuare su tratto di salita. So in this case we can do sorpasso in tratto di salita. Okay, when we are climbing we can do sorpasso because we have 4 lanes, 2 for those coming, 2 for we that are going, so I can use 1 to do the sorpasso, okay, which will not cause any intraccio. All right, what else? Si può effettuare, ok. Come comportamento bisogna diminuire la velocità. Okay, so the best comportment we need to do once again is to diminish our velocity e spostati il più possibile a margine destro della carreggiata se la strada è a doppio senso con 2 solo corsie. So what we need to do is to also to stay very close to the right margin, okay, to the right margins when the road is 2 corsia, okay, and is also a doppio senso di marcia. So like we said, if we have only 2 lanes, one going and we are meeting other vehicles at the opposite direction, we need to stay very close to the our right hand so that over here we don't have accidents with anyone. Alright, il segnale non indica una strada deformata in cattivo stato o con pavimentazione. So this is, this is not talking about what we talk about already, which is what we call this one, strada deformata. Okay, so strada deformata, looking at it's having two and that is different from, so look at the signs, the pericolo inside very well, and the design. Okay, all right, so this one is telling us that is a dorso. Okay, it's not strada deformata or whatsoever. All right, let's look at the notes we have here and the possible answers, the possible questions. Okay, so il segnale raffigurato preannuncia un dorso vero. Okay, we are talking about dorso right here. Il segnale raffigurato preannuncia una strada pericolosa per limitata visibilità. So this road is very dangerous a causa di limitata or illimitata velocità or whatever. All right. So why? Because we have limited visibility, and for that matter, is why, because that is the reason why the road is a pericolo. Our point 3, which is okay, so the point 2 is also vero. Okay, when you meet something like this, is vero. Point 4, in presenza del segnale raffigurato bisogna considerare che la visibilità è limitata. Sì. So when we see this, we need to consider that, okay, there is no good visibility. Point 5, preannuncia una strada, quindi il segnale raffigurato preannuncia una salita seguito da una discesa. So è una salita, poi una discesa. A climbing and when we're getting down or descending, okay, or ascending and descending. Now we have our point 6. Il segnale raffigurato preannuncia una variazione dipendenza della strada con limitata visibilità. So variazione dipendenza, like now, because before we were having a plain line, which we call la pianura, but now the road have been variated. We are having a hill, and it is una pendenza. Pendenza is like the salita, okay, which we also don't have a good visibility. And is vero, ok? Point 7. In presenza del segnale raffigurato è necessario moderare la velocità, which I said 98% sempre dobbiamo moderare la nostra velocità, and is also vero. Allora, point 8, in presenza del segnale raffigurato è vietato l'inversione del marcia. Quindi we have talked about this, that if we see this and it is only if it is a doppio senso con solo due corsie, uno corsia per un senso di marcia, then we cannot do inversione di marcia, we cannot do la fermata, non fermata, we cannot do la sosta, ok? Alright, point 9, sono vietati, ok, so and point 9 sono vietati la sosta, ok, e la fermata, ok, sia sul tratto in salita che quello di discesa. So we cannot do la sosta, la fermata as it has stated right now in both margins, either on when we are ascending or when we are descending. Okay, we cannot do. Why? Because if I parked here, somebody coming from here will not see me, but because of the day he hits my car. If I park here, someone from here, the same way. Okay, it happens. All right, our point 11, we have il segnale raffigurato è un segnale di pericolo. Yeah, guys, so it's a segnale di pericolo because it is triangle, okay? Alright, our point 12, il segnale raffigurato può presegnare dorsi artificiali. So, like I said before, we can use this as dorso artificiale, and dorso artificiale example is our ramps. When there is a ramp, you see this sign as well. Okay, all right. So that is it for dorso, and our final and our last one we are talking about the pericolo, and we still have other ones. So we need to treat this one and treat the other ones as well. All right. So the final one we are talking about today in this lesson is the cuneta. Now cuneta is more or less like looking at the design. It's similar to the strada deformata, but the strada deformata is having is a little bit different. So check for the differences, okay, in the video. Alright, so cuneta indica una strada in discesa, ok, in discesa, uh, strada in discesa seguita da una salita. So this one was salita seguito da discesa. But looking at Cuneta, Cuneta is having discesa. Okay, when we get down, then we climb. So looking at this area, we having a buco, we having a hole right here. So um, these holes, if you look at some roads, you will see that a road that is having maybe mostly it's under bridges. When you have these holes, so your car will just descend and ascend. And in these areas, most often when it rains, there are a lot of water right here. Water gathers here. Okay, so let's look at what the notes tell us. Indica una strada in discesa seguito da una salita, dove la visibilità è presente, infatti se si vede se viene un veicolo di fronte. Ok, here it doesn't limit our visibility, unlike how Dosso was doing. But Cuneta, because you're descending, someone also is descending, we see ourselves. Okay, there is no mancanza di visibilità. Però pertanto il sorpasso consentito, e quindi for this reason, because there is no limitata visibilità, we can do the sorpasso unlike the dorso. Ok, con moderazione anche su tratto a doppio senso con due sole corsie. So this one, it doesn't limit us not to do sorpasso as far as we have a good visibility. Il pericolo è anche dovuto alla presenza di acqua che si può accumulare in caso di pioggia. Pericolo di aquaplaning. So, like I said, when it rains, water can accumulate here. Okay, and with this presence of aqua, we have a terminology, so we call aquaplaning. So aquaplaning is we will talk about it later. Is a phenomenon which we have in this cuneta, because when water is accumulated here and our ties and everything is not so much good, then the phenomenon is a noi ci teniamo a scivolare, like we will be slipping on this particular water. Okay, so it's not a good thing, because if you are slipping, or if you are hovering over the water and you are not having a good adherence or a good movement from your tie to the ground, is very dangerous. Okay, occorre moderare la velocità per evitare eccessive sollecitazione e danni alle sospensioni. So in this case, we need to reduce our velocity so that we don't cause damages to our suspensions. Alright, e per non perdere il controllo dei veicoli. And also we need to make sure that we don't lose control of the vehicle. Alright, cosa dobbiamo fare? Tenere il volante con una presa più sicura, so we need to hold our steer, like we said before, and also very good. Ok, considerare maggiore possibilità di sbandamento dei veicoli per i veicoli con rimorchio. So if we are training rimorchio, we can also be moving here and there. Il segnale non indica una strada deformata in cattivo stato con pavimentazioni irregolari. And this one is not talking about strada deformata. It is cuneta. Okay, so let's look at possible answers from here too. So our point one is segnale raffigurato preannuncia una cuneta. So yes, we are talking about cuneta. Okay, il segnale raffigurato preannuncia un tratto di strada pericoloso a causa di una cuneta. So the strada is pericoloso, sì, a causa di this cuneta. Alright. Il segnale raffigurato è un segnale di pericolo. So it is pericolo because it is triangle and red as well. Si trova il segnale raffigurato si trova in tratto di sorry, I made a spelling mistake here. So si trova in tratto di strada, in tratto di discesa, ok, discesa seguito da uno in salita. So trato di discesa when we are descending, and salita is when we are ascending on or climbing. Okay. Now, our point 5, preannuncia, il segnale raffigurato preannuncia una strada che potrebbe allagarsi in caso di pioggia, orante con una presa più sicura. So like we said, we need to hold our steer with very firm and very good so that we don't go contromano. In caso di pioggia è necessario prevedere la possibilità di accumulo di acqua nella cuneta. So, like I said, when it rains, we need to make sure or we need to know that it's very possible or necessary that water will be accumulated right here. È necessario prevedere, in caso di segnale raffigurato, è necessario prevedere la possibilità di accumulo di fango e di detriti nella cuneta. So in this case, we need to know that this area can be muddy, you know, they can be it can be muddy, yes, just like that. So we need to know that. And when the area is muddy, you know, like we can still have that shivoramento. Shivoramento is kind of we will be sliding on that particular area, you know, which is not good for us. So that is it for Segnale di Pericolo. We have treated most important three and the difficult ones. The other ones are not so difficult, which we are going to tackle them one after the other. So I will encourage you to stay tuned and wait for other videos or other lessons. So in order to do this, you need to subscribe to the channel, like the video if you loved it, share to friends who might need them, and also comment if you doubt or you don't understand something. If you want a detailed explanation, or if you have a specific topic maybe you want us to treat for you, you can also suggest and we do it as fast as possible. It is our objection and our goal that everybody will be able, those that are having difficulty to understand the Italian language, we will break it down for them so that everybody can acquire or can have his patente di guida in Italy. All right, so thank you very much for staying by. See you in the another lesson.